One dressed as a dinosaur. Another appears to throw a tomato at a Republican assemblyman.
I think they were chanting, build a rail. It's been 17 years and $16 billion, and no rail has been built. So if you want to go protest somewhere, if you want to shout at someone, go to the governor's mansion. Go talk to Democrats.
Back in 2008, California voters passed Proposition 1A, promising a high-speed train from San Francisco to L.A. by 2020 at a cost of $33 billion. Now, the hope is to connect Merced to Bakersfield by 2030 to 2033, and the entire project is about $100 billion over budget.
This is a boondoggle.
I've ridden on rail probably more than all of you combined.
Back in December 2023, then President Joe Biden allocated about $4 billion to continue the project. On that day, I spoke via Zoom with former Governor Jerry Brown and former Speaker Nancy Pelosi.
Biden likes trains.
We need these jobs.
Now, a different president with a very different view.
The worst overruns that there have ever been in the history of our country.
President Trump launching a, quote, compliance review to see if that $4 billion federal investment should go forward.
Is there any way you could see where you do want to spend the $4 billion and go forward with this, or is this sort of box checking to end the project?
What I see here is going to be a hard stretch to see how those promises were kept by how this money was spent.
High-Speed Rail Authority wouldn't agree to an interview, but sent us this statement, quote, "We welcome this investigation and the opportunity to work with our federal partners. California's high-speed rail is 171 miles under active construction with over 50 major structures completed, 14,700 jobs created, and more than 880 small businesses engaged."
We spent all this money already. Is there anything we can get out of it? And what is your sort of vision for what high-speed rail in California could actually look like?
That's a great question for Gavin Newsom. What should you do with this project?
The governor also didn't agree to an interview on camera, but his team referred me to this.
Just finished a meeting with President Trump.
When the governor visited the White House in early February, he discussed high-speed rail with President Trump.
And then he actually, to his credit, asked very detailed questions about what it is and what it isn't.
Although most of the money from high-speed rail comes from California, a significant chunk has also come from the federal government. And that's where the Republican Congress members come in.
The project is just such an absolute and complete failure.
Congressman Kevin Kiley is backing legislation to kill all federal funding for the project.
Do you have the votes in the House and the Senate and the president now to effectively kill the project at the federal level?
I think we will. That's my hope. That's gotten a lot of momentum.
Republican Congressman Vince Fong says that money could then be spent on other things.
If you offered any American or any Californian the option of there's $128 billion, what would you prioritize? I guarantee you that this project would not be in the top 1,000 priorities.
Protesters are skeptical of the entire Trump administration.
We want to say no to a king and yes to high-speed rail.
This is something that will help people for generations, will help take vehicles off the road and help people have more options to get around California.
Secretary Duffy says he's not opposed to all high-speed rail and says the proposed L.A. to Las Vegas route, which is now being worked on, is promising.
No, absolutely not. Please. No, absolutely not.
Save time and money booking your all-inclusive vacation with a budget beach finder when you can be a little extra. Like
himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your tyranny is rising in the White House, and a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House. And a man has declared himself our king. So I would like to know, rather, the people would like to know what you, congressmen, and your fellow congressmen are going to do to rein in the megalomaniac in the White House.
Okay, I mean, we've got like people voting and holding their congresspeople. And just so you guys know, I picked these. These are representative. These are Republican districts. So this is not Democrats. These are actually Republicans.
I'm not going to give you my best foghorn leghorn response to that. But what I was, you can go ahead and sit down. Thank you. When you talk about tyranny, when you talk about presidential power, I remember having the same discussion with Republicans when Biden was elected. The funny thing is,
I'm going to pull that one.
the funny thing is, you're sitting here and
Okay, the sound's not very good on that one. I don't know what's going on. So one right after the other, you guys, it's
this starts to absorb.
The fact that Elon Musk is there, he will be able to raise questions, and because of his fame and financial success, I think all of a sudden he is going to be able to force Congress to look at things like aircraft carriers, which wouldn't be otherwise. Okay. Now,
this is another
we'll have time for a lot
Republican district in Wisconsin.
Unless we have very different people than we did in Fox Cities, Fox Crossing. Unless we have very different people, we're going to get questions on Elon Musk. So, obviously, President Trump has issued a lot of executive orders. I think by and large, this is moving very quickly compared to other administrations, and I think across the board. He's done some very good things. I think he's gotten rid of birthright citizenship.
Illegal as hell.
The sounds is really bad.
He's gone back to the stay in Mexico policy, which I think is one of the major reasons why we no longer have thousands and thousands of people crossing the southern border.
True rotting.
He's getting rid of the DEI. Which is an ideology whereby when you look at people,
Yeah. He gets serious pushback on that one.
From an on-time system.
This one is Stephanie Bice. She is, I believe, in Arizona. She held, and I actually kind of don't blame her. She held a virtual town hall. There we go. Okay. Like I said, this is Stephanie Bice. Oklahoma, representative in Oklahoma, who held a virtual town hall, and I don't blame her. She probably got word from all her representative homies that you don't want to meet with them face to face.
I'm a registered Republican voter and retired active Army officer. How can you tell me that Doge, with some college whiz kids from a computer terminal in Washington, D.C., without even getting out into the field, after about a week or maybe two, has determined that it's okay to cut veterans' benefits?
I think a couple things. Let me give you an example. Did you know that the VA was in charge of payments for illegals for housing? Basically, the VA.
No, I'd like for you to send me. Could you send me that reference so I could research that? Because no, I'm not aware of that. And I would tell you that that's a red herring, a false flag. If you're throwing that kind of political stuff up, trying to cut veterans' benefits, that's very alarming to me.
A registered Republican.
Yep. So he's like, I want to know what these kids are doing. So basically referring to the team of teens that are on the Doge team. And, he's saying, I'm hearing all these like rumors that they're not even in the building, that they're doing it from and they're going into our records and this, that, and the other. And she tries to, and then he asks, and they determine by not even knowing anything that my veterans benefits should be cut. And then she stops him and wants to deflect by going into this whole immigrant hysteria. And he's just like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear any of your political BS, essentially. And if that's, he's like, I think that's a red herring, a red flag or whatever. Send me that information. But other than that, like he didn't want to have anything to do with it. So people are getting sick and tired. So this is the last one. This is Democratic citizens basically demanding their representatives to do more. The citizens are sick of seeing weak actions or performative actions done by Hakeem Jeffries, who is leading, and Chuck Schumer, who is leading. What we're seeing, are politicians who are actually taking a stance are getting the most support from American citizens. So we're seeing, Jasmine Crockett really step up. We're seeing AOC really step up. And of course, man, the GOAT, Bernie Sanders. But this is in New York. And this is constituents basically saying, I want you to do more. Let me present. There's something going on with the sound. It's getting Jared. They don't want to hear it. There's no proof, she says. I think we've already seen this one. Yeah. Here we go. This is the yeah, this is upstate New York. So let's pull this up.
New York this week, Congressman Tonko held a town hall. You might have seen this clip going around, but if you haven't seen it, you will want to. Watch this.
I saw you on TV at NOAA. I saw you on TV at the Department of Education. What I'm saying is this. Somebody asked you what your red line was, and you said that the time is always right to go. Does that mean the red line has already been crossed? Because I think it has. If you ask us to show up, Congressman Tonko, we will show up. We have to take the gloves off. We can't look for protocol. They're not playing by the rules.
So they're not playing by the rules.
We have to take it through them.
Oh, when I saw those places, I saw you next
to Waters. So proud that my representative was on the front line, right there. But I thought about Jimmy Carter, and I thought about John Lewis. And I know what John Lewis would have done. He would have gotten arrested that day. Make them outlaw you. We will stand behind you. We will be there with you. I will get arrested with you.
I will get arrested with you. Like, we need you to step it up.
The crowd goes wild.
I mean, essentially, citizens are begging. Democratic citizens are begging their representatives to do something, and like enough of the we need to work in good faith with the Republicans. The Republicans have never played fair. Now is not the time. We don't care whose feelings we're going to hurt. We need you to step it up. And we're only seeing that from a handful of senators and Republicans and representatives and, Congress people in the federal government. And we need more. And people are getting real sick of it. All right. Let's see. We've already saw that one. There's something going on with so the polls are slipping. So not only are people going and taking advantage of these town halls and speaking very frank with their representatives, but we're seeing now the bottom line, right? What really resonates with politicians. And that's the bottom line, right? They're always talking about, we got to cut this, we've got to cut that. Well, basically Musk's actions and him taking this position is now affecting his bottom line. We're seeing stocks plummet with Tesla. So since January 21st, Inauguration Day, Tesla stocks have decreased by 20%. And the polls are not good for Trump.
We are now getting our first snapshot of how Americans are reacting to President Trump's first month in office. I'm joined now by NBC's Steve Kornacki. Steve, break down these numbers for us.
Yeah, Kristen, you aren't kidding. Just in the last couple of days, 5 new polls out measuring that reaction from the public. You see them right here in the headline. Polarizing a month into the second Trump presidency. You see his approval rating in 4 of these 5 polls is under 50%. In 4 of these 5 polls, his disapproval number is higher than his approval number. So by just about any historical standard, this is a low political position for a president to be in a month into his presidency, though it is worth noting that the one exception to that would be Trump himself in his first term. This, in a way, nothing new for Trump. What you're looking at here, the average of our NBC polls, the first Trump presidency, 2017 to 2021. If you averaged all those together, Trump in his first term was underwater approval rating, 44-53. His absolute best mark still never got that approval number over the disapproval number. You see as low as it got, and average everything that's out there right now together, and you can see how does where his current standings stack up, kind of in that same range. So maybe another way of looking at this, another way this was asked, Quinnipiac asked folks out there, there's a lot going on. Are you surprised by any of it? And about a quarter of voters say Trump is exceeding their expectations in his first month here. About a quarter say he is failing to meet their expectations. Most, though, say for all of the swirl of activity here, this is pretty much what they expected. Let's look at some specific issues here, some actions, proposals from Trump here. Again, from all of these different polls, what's the most unpopular? What's setting off alarm bells here? You can see that call to end birthright citizenship, only 39% support there. Firing federal workers. This question asked about potentially firing hundreds of thousands, 51% oppositions. Look at this. This is the single least popular thing Trump has done in the second term. Pardoning January 6th offenders, including violent offenders, more than 80% opposed. On the flip side, he's done some things, proposed some things that are popular, that executive order to expand oil and gas production, the executive order recognizing 2 sexes. And also, when you look at immigration, there's all sorts of different ways to ask about it. But the CBS poll here had asked the general Trump administration program to deport immigrants who are here illegally. You see broad support there when it's asked at the broad level like that. Look at the personalities now, the public faces of this administration, not just the president, the vice president. And of course, you were just talking about Elon Musk. What you're measuring here is just basic popularity. Do you have a favorable, unfavorable view of these people? Again, that Trump number looks just like his approval rating does. You can see Vance, it's about evenly split with Musk. It is now 50% unfavorable. And then when you ask folks just about that job that Musk has taken inside the government here, trying to make cuts here, again, you can see 49% disapproval, only a third approving. We say a lot of similarities politically to Trump's first term in the polls. Here's a difference. Remember, Trump's political strength in his first term was the economy. Again, averaging all our polls from the first Trump presidency together, nearly 50% across those 4 years were saying they approved of how Trump handled the economy. We know how politically potent that issue is. He campaigned on it last year, but attitudes towards the economy have not improved so far. And now it's nearly 50% who disapprove of how Trump's handling the economy. Now, this is early, obviously, in his presidency, but we know the potency of the economy politically, and these numbers right here may loom right now, Kristen, as the biggest single immediate political challenge for Donald Trump and for the Republican Party.
Just a fascinating look at what Americans think right now as we prepare to enter the second month of the Trump administration. Steve Kornacki, thanks so much.
Okay. So it's not looking good. And we knew it. We felt it, right? I mean, it's pretty palpable. He's people that you normally wouldn't get disapproval from, or people that you would go to town halls and complain in ruby red districts are not happy, and they're asking, what are you going to do about it to stop him, or to at least slow him down at the very, at the very minimum, or if you're a Democrat, what are you doing? Why aren't you pushing back harder? So a lot of unhappy Americans. All right. But of course, in true Donald Trump, fashion, he's doing great, y'all. I mean, as of February 21st, so a couple of days ago, he's doing great. Let me show you his this awesome tweet. Let's take a look. If it would do something, something's going on. Your browser has clicked the screen. Oh my goodness. Oh. Okay, I'm going to try this. No, that didn't work. Shoot. So Donald Trump's last tweet is hilarious. Well, it's not his last tweet, but it basically says, I won the presidential election. This was February 21st, 2025 at 8:32 a.m. And it says, I won the presidential election in a landslide. Won all 7 swing states. The popular vote in all 50 states shifted Republican, a record. And now I have the best polling numbers I've ever had. The Democrats, run by broken down losers like James Carville, who's weak of mind and body, are going crazy and just don't know what to do. They've lost their confidence and spirit. They've lost their minds. We're going to have a big wins for our country and make America great again. It's already happening, and it will get bigger and bigger and better than ever. He is Delulu. All right. So we went over the polls, not doing so great. And people are taken to the streets. So we're seeing a lot of demonstrations. So thousands upon thousands against President Trump in DC, across the US, practically since Inauguration Day. But especially on Monday, on President's Day, to protest policies, including this administration's efforts to make sweeping cuts to the government, to government agencies, and to push and to deport undocumented immigrants. The President's Day demonstrations, driven by the 50-51 movement, which is a grassroots effort that calls for 50 protests in 50 states, also featured signs protesting Elon Musk, the billionaire face of Doge. So let me pull that up. Can you please take them out? Can you please take them out? I'm live. Please take them out. I'm live on YouTube. Please go.
Can we say hi? We just want to say.
No, I will be out there. I'll be out there soon. Okay, let's pull this puppy up.
Sources, but like AI search engine.
Scholarly sources like peer-reviewed journals and research papers.
I swear.
For any
it's
article
really
you find, you can instantly
raising their voices, blowing on horns, and banging on pots and pans. Protesters outside Los Angeles City Hall made it loud and clear that they reject Donald Trump and his rapid-fire efforts to steer American society sharply to the right.
We're here to defend democracy.
There's just a lot of inner corruption, and we don't know where to go to actually fight it. This is a good first step, but we need to move past that even.
Many carried signs denouncing Trump as a fascist. Others waved Mexican flags in solidarity with undocumented persons and banners defending LGBTQ rights. This is part of a grassroots, social media organized series of protests called 50-50 and 1, aiming to create 50 protests in 50 cities in one day. People rallied from Boston, Massachusetts to Austin, Texas, Raleigh, North Carolina, and Indianapolis, Indiana, as well as many more towns, including a protest practically on Trump's own doorstep in Washington, D.C.
The protesters here are demonstrating against the Trump administration's planned mass deportation of migrants. They're also protesting the plans to radically reshape the federal government, including gutting entire federal agencies.
Some protesters expressed particular outrage over the role of multi-billionaire Elon Musk as Trump's right-hand man, an unelected but still all-powerful disruptor rampaging through Washington's government institutions.
What we see right now, and very much so with how Elon Musk is treating the government, right now what they have is full control, and nobody's able to stop them.
The protests were smaller than the massive rallies that marked the beginning of the first Trump administration in 2017. But after a period in which Trump has steamrolled political allies and opponents alike with executive orders and distracted the news media with proposals to seize Greenland and Gaza, they may be a sign that a firm grassroots resistance is finding its voice. Rob Reynolds, Al Jazeera, Los Angeles.
Okay. It's been a whirlwind, you guys. I have been filming TikTok. That's what I normally do is I do short videos about TikTok or on TikTok shorts, right? And then I've been uploading them onto YouTube slowly to kind of, start to grow and start to get more familiar with uploading and eventually moving to long form videos. So yeah, I have been so busy and I cannot keep up because honestly, it's just me obviously doing the news, but this administration has been completely crazy. I think one of the greatest things that are that come out of total shit show administrations is the craziness, right? The people coming together and coming together in one, demonstrating, having conversations with their loved ones about, in organizing and, what can we do? And I find myself so many times just, seeking the humor because, or else you can go to a really dark place, even though technically I'm not experiencing anything outright that would affect me personally, but it affects me when others are being done wrong. So, one of the things that is so great about Trump's administration is the trolls. It's that I wrote the only positive thing about Trump being in office is that it brings back one of the greatest haters out of the shadows. Acclaimed horror author Stephen King, who made a surprise return to Twitter, because I refuse to call it X, to troll Donald Trump and Elon Musk. These are good. And he only did it. I don't think he's come back since then. Let's pull this. Oh, shoot. I'm having serious problems. Serious technical problems. It says Grammarly's not responding. I'm like, I don't need Grammarly. Get out of here. All right, let me pull up the right one. I don't know if you guys can see that. So it says liberal, because this is Fox News, right? So liberal author Stephen King returned to X to hurl insults at President Donald Trump and Elon Musk as he previously vowed to leave the toxic platform. I'm back. Did you miss me? King asked his nearly 7 million followers on Thursday. Musk replies, I did, to be honest. Look at this. Where's the other one? Where did it go? Anyway, so, oh, they couldn't access the tweet. I actually have the tweet, but for some reason I can't pull it up. Anyway, so Trump says, I did, to be honest. And then Stephen King puts up another tweet that says, just wanted to say that Trump is a traitorous, Putin-loving dipshit, goes double for Elon. I love that. You need that humor. You need the humor. All right. So that's a wrap. That is a wrap to my summary of the chaos that has been the first 30 years of Trump's administration. I'll be posting more videos this week. I'll be creating a video for my a schedule for my videos, and as well as starting live videos and get more comfortable with doing this. So make sure that you stay tuned. Please, please, please make sure that you subscribe, like, comment, help me reach my first goal of 1,000 engaging subscribers. Thank you so much for your support. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. Take care of each other. Be kind to one another. I will see you on my next video. Peace.